I mean, I got 2 felonies on my record now. I got a murder charge and an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge. No, it's not worth it. Work your 9 to 5, man. Hustle that way to make money. Work 2 jobs if you have to. But if you can, go to school so you can get a higher paying job. And it's not worth it because, I mean, you got cameras everywhere. People are snitching left and right. They could be your own homeboys and they're snitching on you. So it's just too much to keep looking over your shoulder when you can just work 9 to 5 and live peacefully.
Maniacs for life.
What's up, Maniacs? Today I'm here with
Jason.
Jason. Jason is a very cool individual, one of the most respectful people I've ever met in my life. And he's really awesome with a crazy story. As a plant, we got to grow into something beautiful. And in order to do that, we start off as a seed. And we got to go through some dirt to become that beautiful thing that we grow into. So, Jason, what is some of the dirt that you've been through?
I mean, starting off young, man. I was back in California, and it was a lot seeing my cousins grow up and wanting to be like them. Wanting to be gangster related and just be down with the homeboys. Doing dirt. And then my father was like, "No, I can't have you around all that." So we moved to a different state. And he tried to get me out of that, but I kind of just envied that my whole life and wanted to be that. So I kind of took off in that direction anyways. And then I had an uncle that kind of helped me get on the fast track of doing dirt in the streets and helping him sell dope and, all that stuff that goes with it.
So with that, what made you continue in that path? Did you feel like it was wrong during the time, or was it just something like, you know what, I see my family doing it, this is great, this is my life?
That's exactly what it is. I looked up to my uncle tremendously. He's one of the most powerful men I ever known. Very alpha male, gets his way no matter what. I mean, he's been selling dope 60 plus years and never been caught. He's real smart about what he does. One thing, I mean, he taught me a lot of things, man, and a lot of things I still hold on to, and I try to pass them on to younger generations that are still living that life. But my reason is not to keep them doing it, but just to keep them from getting caught, because I believe in the justice system, but at the same time, if you can get around it and you're not hurting nobody, then, go for it, make that money.
It's a huge industry, it really is.
Yeah.
What is, did you ever get caught with selling, or was it a different thing that caught you?
There's a lot of things I almost got caught for. I used to rob places a lot, man.
Really?
Restaurants, home invasions. Never been caught for any of them. Got close one time, real close. But my cousin took the heat for me just because it fell on his lap. You know what I mean? Also, because he kind of gave me the access to get into a certain place. And he took the rap, and luckily they didn't press charges on him. But if it would have fell on me, they would have pressed charges on me because they didn't even know me.
Right.
So anyways, that was one time I almost got caught, but I got caught for other things down the road.
What did you get caught for down the road?
Well, I mean, I got 2 felonies on my record now. I got a murder charge and an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge.
How did you, which one was first?
They're at the same time.
So do you mind telling the story of that?
Vaguely, yeah.
Go ahead.
I got into a heated debate with some dudes that were enemies already of me and my family. I didn't know it at the time, but got into a fight. The fight turned to worse and trying to kill each other, and I came out on top. But I ended up going to prison for it. So.
How long did you go to prison for it?
I did 11 years in there.
11 years.
Yeah.
So with that fight, did you know them prior to the fight, or was it just that night that you met them?
I knew some of them, but
Okay.
one individually more than the other.
How was that time in prison?
It's how you make it.
Okay.
Because you can go in there and just do your time. I mean, I'm not saying you won't get into a fight here and there, but as long as you're respectful to other people and carry yourself well, you'll be all right.
Did you get into a lot of fights?
I got into one. That was it. Because I grew up respectful to people, so I carried myself well in there. And also it depends on what you get in there for, because when you get in there, believe it or not, people know. If they don't know, Some units, they hit you up for your paperwork to see what you do. Like when I first got in, I went through this one unit, and everybody coming through the door, they're checking your paperwork. And anybody who had like rape cases, child cases, anything like that, oh, they're getting smashed on site.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, whatever clique was running that unit or that dorm, like particularly, they're the ones that carried it out.
Wow.
You know, I came in, they see my paperwork, they're like, oh, murder charge, okay, cool, whatever. You know, and then later on, they try to hit you up and see what you want to do, whatever. You want to get down, or, you know what I mean?
So, 11 years in prison, that's a huge amount of time to just be outside from the real world. Whenever you were in there, did you get any news about the outside world that I would say made you feel sad, lonely, upset about your decisions, or were you like, no, this is the life I chose, this is what I'm going through, and I'm just gonna face it? What was your mentality when you were going through it?
Well, I'll take it back a little bit.
Go ahead.
I was sitting in the courtroom, and when they handed out my sentence, my family behind me, they started crying and stuff, and I just turned to them and was like, nah, don't worry about it, I got it. And I figured I had to be strong for them too, you know?
Right.
But going into it, I was still kind of a knucklehead going in, you know, doing what I wanted, get away with whatever I can. And it took probably about 3 or 4 years in before I started like calming down and was like, nah, this is not for me.
Right.
I don't want this. Because family members started dying, and you know, I had no contact with them, and I was just like, they're like, hey man, you know, your uncle died 6 months ago. I'm like, fuck, didn't know that. You
Right.
know? So I started changing my ways a little bit. I had a buddy of mine started telling me about God, and I was like, well, I listened to him because when I was growing up as a child, before my mother died, she was, you know, preaching God to me and stuff and taking me to church. So I started listening to him. I started going to church, and I was like, okay. So this is probably the 4th year in I started going to church. And I did the church thing for a while. Then I stopped going to church because to me it was just too much trying to be shoved down your throat. So I just kept doing me, playing handball, you know, just killing time in there. But I still read the Bible and tried to live my life straight according to his ways in the Bible, you know. And I got out now. I'm not saying I'm a Christian man now. I like to think I am, but I'm not really living it. But at the same time, I'm not breaking like man's laws, you know what I mean,
Right.
to get me back in prison.
Right.
But I do believe in God. There is a higher power.
What do you feel like brings you to believe in God? Was it the fact that you went through so much hell, or was it the fact that you could change yourself, or maybe both, or maybe some other completely different thing? What was the stretch? Were you an atheist before that, then you turned into someone who believed in God? Did you always believe in God?
I think I would say I always believed in God, but I wanted to change for me because I realized the path I was living, it didn't lead to nothing.
Right.
Getting high every day, just living off of what you make daily. And not really having anything, not having that extra money to get what you really want.
Right.
You know what I mean? You see people in these nice cars and you're rolling around in the hoopty or riding the bus. It's like, I want more for myself.
Right.
So I wanted to change and be a better person.
Nice. So whenever you got out, how was that change? Because 11 years in, and then you get out, it's a whole new world. What was some of the first things that you noticed that was like, okay, this is different?
2 things actually, man. iPhones and a lot of restaurants, believe it or not.
Okay.
When they actually let me out through the gates, my old lady picked me up and we took off down the road and we're driving. We had like a 7-hour trip here. And I was just like, man, so much has changed. The buildings look brand new. Paints from different restaurants look different. You know what I mean? They just remodeled the whole thing. It just blew my mind. The whole ride, I was pretty much quiet. Just smiling and being quiet, just looking at all the new sights again. Because 11 years is a long time, man, but I can only imagine how the dudes that are, like, I still have homeboys that are in there like 40 years, 45 years. And some of them may never get out. But the ones that do, fuck, they went to prison before phones, there were cell phones. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine how they feel when they get out.
Why do you feel like that whole experience made you stronger?
It made me stronger a lot, man, because now, I mean, I hold a job, you know, a decent paying job. I got my family that I want. I got friends that are not into doing fucked up things to get them back to
Right,
jail.
right.
You know, so I'm actually living my best life now. You know,
Nice.
I don't have to take the bus no more. I got a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just stuff like that.
What would you say to someone that actually has just gotten out recently from serving a long time in prison? What are some words that you could say to them, like, to get through? Because I don't know if I would say it was like a hard time when you got out, or if it was like such a relief that you got out.
Both actually.
Yeah.
Hard because you're having to adjust to the world being so fast. When in prison, it's really slow paced. It's same thing. It's the same thing in the free world as it is locked up, like day in day out. But the outside world is fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there, it's always slow boogie.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing. Another thing is the hardest thing for me to adjust to is, and I'm still really adjusting to it, is being around a lot of groups of people. Like, how you say, like say you go to a bar, and there's a bunch of people there. It bothered me for a long time. I would have to go to my car and get a break away from people.
Okay.
Even now, I have a 4-bedroom house, but I sit in my room with my door closed and locked, and nobody's in my house but me, just because I need that seclusion. So that's one of the hardest things is to be able to open up again and be out there in the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it fucks with you being in there, man. It really does.
What would you say to someone that might be going through something that before you actually went into prison and is living that life of, gangster and like thinking that it's cool, thinking that, you know what, my family's doing it, it's okay. Like, what would you say to someone who might be going through that same mindset that puts you in that place?
It's not worth it. No, it's not worth it. Work your 9 to 5, man. Hustle that way to make money. Work 2 jobs if you have to. But if you can, go to school so you can get a higher paying job. It's not worth it because, you got cameras everywhere. People are snitching left and right. They could be your own homeboys and they're snitching on you. So it's just too much to keep looking over your shoulder when you can just work 9 to 5 and live peacefully.
Right.
Some people like that wild life though. So if it takes them going to jail maybe for a short time and get out and learn their lesson, if not, then really you're just fucking yourself over. You only live once.
Right. Why do you think life is beautiful?
And I think that can be a perspective different for each individual. But like for me, it's my family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about that when it comes to like the trauma parts of the life that you went through that doesn't even have to necessarily be with prison or, what you used to be involved with? Is there any other parts, whether it's something that you went through when you were young or maybe something that you're going through now that you'd like to talk about? Or if you want to end it there, I think we've done a great interview already.
Yeah. I think that's good right there. Because I can't think of anything else.
Well, man, I really appreciate you.
Yeah, brother. Thank you.
And Maniacs, thank you for listening. If you're ever going through something hard, you always got to remember that when life sucks, smile.